Very good evening and welcome everyone. I'm Sagar Joshi from Law Prep Tutorial, and today we have a very special guest with us. Is Harsh Sethi, and Harsh is
Sir, it's
extremely
live. Sorry.
okay. Thank you. So Harsh is very extremely talented boy and a truly, genuinely gifted talent. I mean, he not only cleared this exam in the very first attempt with his 12th board exams, but also he was probably the youngest person who made it possible. So I've been training students, I've been preparing students for law entrance examinations since 2001 and 2. It's been more than 18, 19 years. I've been preparing students and I've prepared or I've trained more than, I don't remember, maybe more than 25,000 students for law entrance examinations. But Harsh was probably the youngest person I taught and I prepared. And he was too young, still he was so mature, so focused, so dedicated, and extremely talented. AILET, he got third rank, All India rank. In very first attempt, he also cleared the CLAT exam. Right now, he's studying in NLS Bangalore, one of the best college in entire Asia to study law. And he is there in National Law School, Bangalore, studying in the first year is almost done. I mean, not almost, it's done. And he has digitally entered into the second year due to this COVID pandemic. So today he is with us. I won't take much time, won't waste much time, and we'll ask questions. We'll take your questions. A lot of people have joined us on Facebook. We are live today on many Facebook pages, as well as we are live on YouTube. So you can ask your questions to Harsh here, and he'll answer all your queries, all your questions related to CLAT, related to law career, and related to life at Law National Law School, Bangalore. So let me start. Even I'm interacting with Harsh after a long time. So he's now grown up. All अभी वो एकदम से smart, हट्टे कट्टे लग रहे हैं. He used to be very thin, slim, and कहते हैं छोटा पैकेट बड़ा धमाल, but now is बड़ा पैकेट also. So welcome Harsh, and so
Hi,
I
sir.
see you. Harsh, what do you think? I mean, you've been in National Law School for more than 1 year. 6 months you were there, and then due to COVID, now you are digitally connected with the campus. So now, what is your reaction, or what is your what do you think about your law school life, your campus life, and what is so special about NLS Bangalore?
Okay, so first of all, hi everyone. This is probably my first webinar for CLAT. Sir asked me, sir made a special request to me to join it. Also, I'll be using both languages, Hindi and English, so anyone can
Yes,
ask me to.
we have a lot of students from both the languages. So I would request you to use both the languages,
I'll
please.
be using
Yes.
both of the languages. So basically, sir asked me about law school. So yeah, so it was a very big surprise for me when I got into NLS Bangalore. Yeah, and see, there are many things that differentiates a law school. Maybe not national law school from many other law schools. Maybe like for example, maybe most probably the crowd itself. That's something कि मतलब जो सबसे ज़्यादा differentiating factor होता है कि मतलब you don't see the same sort of crowd in any other place. That's one of the things. Then I think obviously like ultimately तो आपका purpose ये भी होता है कि faculty कैसी है और मे बी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कैसा है या फिर कैंपस कैसा है एंड ऑब्वियसली बच्चों को जो चीज पसंद होती है कि लाइक हाउ आर द पीपल देयर और दोस्त बनेंगे या नहीं है जैसे मंडेन क्वेश्चंस तो या इट्स डेफिनेटली समथिंग वर्थ इट आई विल डेफिनेटली से इट इज डेफिनेटली वर्थ इट और आई मीन यू डेफिनेटली गेट इनटू द वर्ल्ड एंड इट्स it's very weird to think about CLAD for me now क्योंकि अब वो बहुत पीछे छूट गया है और I
Okay.
definitely can't think like I would have to
Okay.
give CLAD.
One more question I would like to ask you. Well, how did you get into law? Because you're studying there for the 10th, 9th, 10th class. So how law came into your mind? I mean, how did you learn about the law career? And how you were, why did you choose law as a career?
So basically, ninth and 10th, I had no idea what to do exactly. But then obviously, my brother went for engineering, so they were like, "Kis like दूसरा बच्चा है, तो they should give me an extra chance to do something on my own." So
Okay.
then my dad showed me the CLAT 2016 paper, and everyone knows how easy it was. So I
True.
was like, "Okay, ये तो crack हो जाएगा."
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, and
Acha,
it
when you started preparing, so from day one you had LLS in your mind, like getting good rank, topping exam, or get into Delhi or Bangalore, or you were like, "Okay, let us see, let's start, let's see what happens, let's see." So what was your plan when
So
you started?
like I started preparations in 11th or I had no idea, and I had started preparing through Universal Guide, and at that time I had absolutely no idea. I thought कि schooling के साथ भी हो जाएगा, मतलब होता है, but it didn't happen for me. So I went to coaching to law prep, and yeah, I mean after coming to law prep I had a very broad idea कि अब क्या करना है, and like the list came out कि you have to fill NLS at the first, and then a broad idea formed in my mind कि yeah, this is how it works.
So you had this confidence that I would get through top of, I mean, one of the best college, or maybe I'll get the best rank. You had this confidence, or it happened like just like that? What happened?
I would prefer just like that version because
Okay.
like Islet was possibly more like a very big surprise for me. I was going back from Jodhpur to Udaipur on that day, and the bus I got the result, and that was very big surprise for me. Glad I had expected, like obviously I had put in a lot of effort, so I won't say कि I didn't expect, but yeah, I mean obviously आपके टीचर्स आपको कुछ कह रहे हैं या आपके मतलब पेरेंट्स आपको कह रहे हैं कि yeah you can get in, so it obviously gives you the courage, and I have put in 2 years of effort, so I think I had some expectations definitely.
ओके। और जब आप जैसे आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे थे, तो क्या चैलेंजेस, जैसे अभी जो बच्चे प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, तो जनरली बच्चों को होता है थोड़ा सा, बच्चे एक प्रेशर होता है कि कैसे परफॉर्म करें, प्रिपेयर करें, मॉक में क्या स्कोर्स हो, कैसे करें, मॉक में कम आ रहे हैं तो दे गेट डीमोटिवेटेड एंड स्ट्रेस्ड एंड थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं। बट जैसे अभी अगर हम देखें तो जैसे आपका, और इस बार बच्चों के साथ एक चैलेंज है कोविड वाला, तो सबसे पहले तो ये हुआ 2020 इज फुल ऑफ सरप्राइजेस। सो टू बिगिन विद 2020 दे हैड दी ऑल ऑफ अ सडन, जिसको कहते हैं ना, पैटर्न चेंज कर दिया गया, और पैटर्न भी बिल्कुल डिफरेंट पैटर्न था। उसके बाद फिर कोविड आ गया, एग्जाम्स केप्ट extending. Still, we're not sure. Like before this conversation, you said ki 22nd probably they'll conduct the exam, and let us hope they'll conduct the exam. But still, uncertainty, extension of exam, the pattern change, a lot of uncertainty. So when you were preparing, what all the challenges and what, I mean, this, did you face all these sort of problems? आपको ये सब problem आया, और आया तो कैसे कोप किया, या कैसे खुद को आपने बैलेंस किया या मोटिवेट किया?
So yeah, matlab like I had started preparing in 11th, so I think that helped. Plus, like I had good ranks in coaching from the beginning. Only I was glad that happened. But yeah, definitely maintaining it was very difficult. Or beach में I had also my board exam, so that was also a big deal. इसके अलावा I remember my scores started going down in February, just 3 or 4 months before the exam, and it was a very difficult time. Like everyone has their individual experiences कि वो कितना difficult हो सकता है, and I can't like equate it with anyone else. But I think it's ultimately about that कि you have to like get through that phase, because once you get through that phase it's more easier, you know like or yeah, still I had an advantage in that I maybe started scoring good earlier, and I had to mainly maybe like had to make a grasp on GK more than other subjects because I had prepped them earlier. But I think it's something you can achieve. Like it's not even if 3 weeks from now the CLAT is happening, I don't think that it's something that is impossible. Considering recent situations की बात करें, तो first of all ये November में आया अब नया syllabus. So I think it should be considered कि it should be considered as a bonus or it should be considered as a benefit कि paper late हो रहा है. क्योंकि obviously you already previously got less time. So I don't think like it should be considered as a negative aspect. Or don't worry, law school will take you whenever you clear the CLAT. They are waiting for you.
अच्छा, अभी हम क्वेश्चंस लेते हैं. बहुत सारे बच्चों के क्वेश्चंस हैं एंड बच्चों ने ये पूछा है कि सिंस यू अचीव्ड 3rd रैंक इन वेरी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट, तो वो जानना चाह रहे हैं कि आपने एलेट के लिए क्या करें, एलेट के एग्जाम के लिए, क्योंकि इस बार एलेट क्लैट में बहुत डिफरेंस है पैटर्न में, तो क्या करें और कैसे एलेट में स्कोर अच्छा करें, बिकॉज यू डिड दैट, तो वो क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे आप उसमें?
So I mean, ALET I had an edge in ALET because I had used to read newspapers in the past and novels in the past. So that is why I made an edge in English. But I think you can get that edge to try to. That's why I say ki, try to read newspapers. Unlike you should in the paper you should be like ki you have a very flow of reading it. It shouldn't be like a paper. It shouldn't be as such a paper. That's why I sometimes suggest ki you should read comprehension first, so that maybe ki तुम्हारा एक flow बन जाए कि तुम ये पढ़ रहे हो तो it should seem like a story. It shouldn't seem like कि मतलब you are reading it for the sake of it, right? और इसके अलावा I guess article reading is plus. I think like you shouldn't focus too much on the newspaper too. Like I've seen people waste 4 hours in newspapers and that's total shit. But I think like that's it. Other than that, I had never prepared specifically for IELT. Never. I had just gone for CLAT and IELT happened. Considering the recent changes in syllabus, I think you should try to more focus on areas that are common to CLAT and IELT. Try to focus more on areas जो common है, and if you are see, I have to say this, but if you're scoring very less already in IELT marks, you shouldn't try to focus on it. Like if you're scoring a reasonably good amount and you have expectations to get in those 50 few seats, you see, CLAT mein to you have 2,000 seats, right? But and Delhi has 50 seats. So you have that confidence, you specifically prepare for it, but still don't give it too much of a time because IELT can be a very firecracker for everyone. So yeah.
Okay, Vanshika Tiwari का question है, can we crack ALET in 1 month?
No.
Vanshika Tiwari.
According to me, no. But see, CLAT भी नहीं होता है, वो तो like थोड़ा एक तरह से एक push मिल जाता है कि आपको हो जाएगा, but I don't think so. You should have done something, at least something. You should have at least edge in English in past. Like you shouldn't कि मतलब 12वीं का board दिया और you should come tell your parents कि IELT हो जाएगा महीने में. That's not happening. That's definitely not.
अच्छा, आप generally कितने hours, how many hours a day you used to study or you used to prepare for CLAT and ALET? कितने घंटे आप पढ़ते थे?
So I guess like boards से पहले और 11th में भी maybe 4-5 hours, but after boards, I remember I had my economics paper on 27th March. उसके बाद I started reading around 7-8 hours a day. Basically the last 2-3 months I had studied 7-8 hours a day, and I was in hostel too, so imagine that. So I think 7-8 hours is the minimum that you should do, like no matter what.
Okay. विजेंद्र का कहना है, सर हाउ टू हैंडल एलेट अलोंग विद बोर्ड एग्जाम्स. बोर्ड तो अब ओवर हो गया, स्टिल विजेंद्र का क्वेश्चन है, इफ यू वुड लाइक टू आंसर दिस.
I mean, next year के लिए हो सकता है applicable अब, but I think I see, don't consider IELT as something specifically different. I know syllabus change हो गया है, but still don't give it too much of a weightage. And I think like what I did in board was I gave pre boards in December, so tried to spread over the syllabus over the time period, and I had humanities, so maybe that also helped. But I mean, like if you are serious about CLAT, also think about your stream too. That would also help.
बहुत सारे बच्चों का क्वेश्चन है, ये बहुत सारे बच्चों ने पूछा है, जीके कैसे किया आपने, मतलब how you used to prepare for the GK for these exams?
See, first of all, मेरा reference GK का इतना helpful नहीं होगा, but I'll still give what I have from here because the syllabus pattern has changed. So first of all, I used to make notes from Banker's Adda. I clearly remember I used to make notes. So basically, the point is pick from website.
The website is Bankers Adda.
Yeah, I used to do it. Like everyone has
Okay.
their own.
Okay.
So I used to do bankers at the maybe GK Today or something like that. Maybe basically pick a website, but considering the syllabus change, I think you should go for newspapers. Because मैं आज ही paper देख रहा था, and they had something like कि Krishnadas Rajagopal का Hindu का article, and I used to read Hindu in those times काफी.
Hmm.
So like go through them, but be very selective in it. You know, open the newspaper and go through it and see the articles that help and note the main points. Do the same for news website. You do the same for GK websites as such. But the point is आपका material इतना concise होना चाहिए कि you should be able to grasp it. You should be able to revise it before the mock. It shouldn't be like कि you have made so much content. Like on an average, you should have maybe 1 or 2 pages per day. Nothing more than that. So that is one thing. Other than that, I think like obviously अब सागर सर के notes मेरे को बहुत काम आए. Even though I didn't go to the class, I got the notes. So like even though people not in law prep also might be watching this, but yeah, like rely on your coaching notes too. And I think first of all, don't rely on many sources. Like pick one, go for one of them.
True, true. Now let us take the question of uh, there is a question. राहुल जोशी पूछ रहे हैं, हाँ आपके लास्ट डेज में मॉक में क्या मार्क्स आते थे?
मतलब I don't know the reference to कि 200 को 150 में कैसे convert करूं, but I got something around 135, 140. It was already 130, 140, and it was like big dream,
So
big deal for 160.
mind you also that time it was 200 paper of 200 marks, right?
And in
Not 150.
IELT I got like IELT was paper to coaching पे depend करता है. It can be very hard, it can be very easy, but generally you should hope for 70, 80 at least.
ओके. अच्छा, बहुत सारे बच्चों ने पूछा है कि जब आपने दिया तब ऑफलाइन था, ये लोग ऑनलाइन दे रहे हैं.
IELT भी ऑनलाइन है क्या?
हाँ, आईलेट भी ऑनलाइन था, लेकिन वो पोस्टपोन हो गया, लेकिन होगा ऑनलाइन ही. तो इनका ये कहना है कि भाई ऑफलाइन से ऑनलाइन में इनको, because you know they have to read the paragraph on the screen, so it's quite difficult to read the passage on the screen and to concentrate on the screen. So what should they do, या उसके लिए क्या सजेशन है आपका?
So, I mean, I also gave some online mocks in coaching, but I don't specifically remember anything of it. But maybe, yeah, like, I know it's difficult, but then you shouldn't try to, मतलब ऐसे आपका ध्यान नहीं भटकना चाहिए, basically. That's one of the major points. Also, like, so when you're reading a passage, or everything is a passage in CLAT now, I've seen it. So when you're reading a passage, just keep reading it. Like, don't ऐसा मत करो कि you just saw an answer to the question and you started writing it down, or you started marking it down. That's not how it works. So like just keep reading it. Maybe make a very small note of like आपको कोई answer मिल गया तो just note it down. Maybe very in a very efficient manner. But otherwise, I think you should just keep reading it. Like that's what I'm saying. It should be like a story. I mean, I don't have any specific points. Basically, when I talk about PCM, I think like, see, it's more of a mental barrier than a physical barrier, or like a sort of a educational barrier to you. अगर आप PCM से हो, you shouldn't think too much about it. But like, that's what I'm saying. Try to read newspapers or try to do things that you haven't done in PCM so far. Like, maybe you should go for like maybe reading your past English chapters from the past. Maybe that would help. See, I know it's like 3 हफ्ते रह गए हैं, so it won't help much. But then, if you're seriously, been a sort of a, it's been sort of a very stopper for you, or the PCM thing, then you should definitely think about uh, reading newspapers. Okay, sir, Nishant, for sure. How to improve critical reasoning. Okay, so critical reasoning, when I talk about critical reasoning, see, that's what I'm saying. critical reasoning में बहुत like very efficient approach चाहिए होता है. First of all, you shouldn't do critical reasoning just as it is. You should first understand the basics of critical reasoning. So pick a book that text tells you about critical reasoning, what is premise, what is assumptions. At least read it once, even though it might not be very useful in the future, but at least read it once ki what are these concepts. और उसके बाद try to apply it. And there are some methods your coaching will definitely teach you कि
Okay.
elimination कैसे करते हैं question का. हाँ सर मैं वो question ले रहा हूँ
हाँ, okay.
कि
I'm
critical
sorry.
reasoning.
Okay, I'm very sorry, guys. थोड़ी सा inconvenience के लिए. तो आप you continue if you were answering some question.
So I was answering how to improve critical reasoning. So like there are many methods like elimination कैसे करते हैं, and then कुछ questions बिल्कुल like throw away होते हैं कि they might look big, but then they might actually don't have any good options. But I suggest कि first of all you should read the passage and then you should go for the questions. So don't go for the questions first. Okay. So like that's in addition to that, like very general methods of how elimination should be done and how similar other things could be done. Like I think that's it. I don't remember exactly what I did.
अच्छा, बच्चों का क्वेश्चन है कि अगर मॉक में आपके मार्क्स कम आए तो व्हाट डिड यू डू, मतलब यू वर डिप्रेस्ड और हाउ डिड यू कोप विद दैट एंड व्हाट डिड यू डू फॉर दैट?
Okay, so like I think also one thing that about mocks is कि mocks भी दो तरह के हो सकते हैं, like broadly very easy mocks or very difficult mocks. So if you're getting good marks in difficult mocks, let's say, that is an advantage to you. If you're getting easy mock good marks, that is an advantage to you. So consider that. Secondly, like okay, let's just not discuss कि depression कैसे होता है mock में, because I think 3 weeks before the exam that won't help much. But let's think about how to cope with mock. So like first of all what you should do after mock is basically first of all आपको कुछ 3 तरह के क्वेश्चंस होंगे. आप पहले क्वेश्चन जो आपको पता है कि you know and you can solve it in the next mock too. Second question जो आप you could do maybe कुछ क्वेश्चंस उसमें से नहीं हुए कुछ हो गए तो go through those questions in the mock again. तीसरे तरह के क्वेश्चंस जो हुए नहीं मतलब like it's out of your range तो go through the concept again. Go through the concept again, go through maybe what your teacher had taught in the past, your notes, and then solve those questions again. Okay?
Okay.
I think that adequately answers it.
Right. और स्टूडेंट ने बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि विल क्लैट बी पोस्टपोन्ड. तो बेटा हमारे पास एनएलएस के वीसी नहीं है, एनएलएस के टॉपर हैं, तो ये तो वीसी साहब बताएंगे कि क्लैट पोस्टपोन होगा या नहीं.
तो वीसी साहब भी नहीं बताएंगे सर.
अच्छा, वो भी नहीं बताएंगे तो उनको भी नहीं पता. तो चलिए लेट्स टेक सम अदर क्वेश्चन. सो समीप सोनकर का क्वेश्चन है, आई बीन रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर फॉर लास्ट 2 months, मेकिंग जीके नोट्स, बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू डू सीआर ही हैज ऑलरेडी टेकन अप. सो सीआर के लिए इन्होंने बताया है. लीगल के लिए बच्चे मैगजीन जीके की, many of them are asking like which GK magazine you used to read?
GK magazine, see, like you shouldn't do something like India Today or very general thing like maybe I mean I'm not sure प्रतियोगिता दर्पण कितने काम की आती है, but like I think magazine में ads और non important content बहुत ज्यादा होता है. So I think like you can't be able to differentiate very well कि मतलब वो कैसे work करेगा. So I think मतलब magazine should not be the major source of your information. Like your notes should be, your newspaper should be, your website should be. And I also only relied on the coaching magazine, and that was enough for me. I don't think magazine is very much helpful. I mean, obviously, बहुत सारे लोगों को shock लगेगा ये, but I don't think magazine would help.
We have many 11th class students. So what do you suggest them? What should they do for the coming 2 years for the preparation of CLAT?
I think this is the right time. Maybe you should try to read something like out of like syllabus. Maybe like something कि तुम्हें कुछ तुम्हारी 11th की novels भी होंगी. So like try to read them. Like try to build a habit of doing it. It won't come at the last moment. So that's why maybe like try to build your reading habit. Otherwise, do the same things as you're doing. Don't do GK at all. But yeah, like try to build a habit of newspaper reading. And as far as I'm concerned, I know this question will come up soon. what about newspapers, which newspapers. Even if you're in 11th and you have to give CLAT the next to next year, don't go for Times of India or Hindustan Times, please. Okay, for me, go for Indian Express or Hindu. Both of them are actually interesting newspapers. I have still sometimes subscribed to them. So go through them and like even at least go through one of their articles. Like you'll definitely find one article that you are genuinely interested in. So वो article पढ़ो जो you want to read, like at least in 11.
Okay.
That's my take.
We have question like, what was the difference in your strategy and your preparation for the last 30 days? Like 2 years you prepared for the CLAT, but I mean, for the entire 2 years, and the what differences you brought in last 30 days?
I think
What special you did in last 30 days?
I think last 30 days may say you will might not be able to gain very much marks in mocks. First, that is a concern to people. Second, first of all, still you should solve as many mocks as possible during the mocks, after the mocks, you should do it. Plus, I think अगर लोग कहते हैं कि you should do only mocks, that is very wrong because see, आपकी पढ़ने की consistency बनी रहनी चाहिए. आप कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हो CLAT से related, you should read it. Because ultimately you will realize at the end of it कि बहुत सारी चीजें तो काम नहीं आए पढ़ने में. But आपको ये भी पता चल, you won't realize it, but you'll understand it कि वो चीजें एक्चुअली काम नहीं आई, बट दे हेल्प यू मेंटेन योर कंसिस्टेंसी. लाइक अगर आप 3 घंटे वेस्ट करो, उससे बेटर कि आप कुछ पढ़ो. Definitely, even if it might not help much. See, that's why I'm saying ki do as many mocks as possible, plus read and study as much as you can, even if you think that it might not help. Ki last moments mein kya kaam aayega. So both of them should be done on a par basis.
Okay, next question है कि इंग्लिश को कैसे इम्प्रूव करें? किसी की इंग्लिश बहुत पुअर है, so how should he improve his English?
I mean, yeah, like Hindi medium school से होने का भी it's a very big loss for you, but I think I'll be hammering upon the same point if I make the argument of reading newspapers. But then, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else right now. So you should read newspapers, and except you should like see. Ultimately, I also felt that English is English is the all paper now. For CLAT, English is the all paper now. So you should consider it seriously. Plus, you should definitely go for grammar rules and how to do it. How to do it like कि grammar rules रटने हैं, don't try to mug them up, guys, please. Like, that's why I used to do this book called English is Easy. My coaching recommended it. So, like, try to apply them. That's what practical information, practical knowledge comes in. उसको apply करने की कोशिश करो. Don't try to mug them up and like try to solve as many examples. Like try to get guidance from people who have like maybe coaching teachers and all.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, like also the option things will also work in English as in critical theory.
So many students asking about the life at NLS. So how's the life? Do you have fun over there? Do you have the scope of somebody जय हो? वो एक ही सवाल बार बार अलग नाम से पूछ रहा है. NLU में गर्लफ्रेंड का स्कोप है क्या? जय हो नाम का कोई बंदा है. मुझे नहीं लगता इसका क्या स्कोप है फ्यूचर में, लाइफ में, करियर में, बट ये इसका क्वेश्चन है.
I don't know how to answer that question, but I think life will go on. Like on an average, life will go on. I mean, it will definitely improve. आपका स्कूल से आप अपने एनालिस्ट को कंपेयर मत करना डेफिनेटली. और गर्लफ्रेंड बनानी है तो इतनी जल्दी है तो एनालिस्ट मिलेगा भी नहीं. तो
वेरी ट्रू.
तो लाइक या सो आई मीन डेफिनेटली it will be an upgrade.
अच्छा, नेबिन मैथ्यू का क्वेश्चन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. उसने पूछा है कि you had third rank in AILET, you had cracked NLS Bangalore. Would you have cracked CLAT if it was the new pattern? अगर इस बार आप CLAT देते तो क्या रैंक लाते?
I have absolutely no idea, but I think ये CLAT like that's what I'm saying. ये CLAT maybe was more conducive to my like type of work I wanted to do. Like even though like आप college जाओगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि यही चीजें आपको वापस मिल रही. For example, I'll give you an example. I read this thing called a passage in your sample paper जो माधव खोसला का था. So and our constitutional law also has Madhav Khosla. So just like try to think it's just a preparation for the future. And don't ask that question to me because I won't be able to answer it. But just think it's like trailer tha. That'll be the main innings at your college. I mean, the
Sakshi,
same thing.
Sakshi Lodhi, how did you analyze your mocks? How
Okay.
you analyzed your mocks?
So like I have told this previously too, कि go for first of all you'll know कि मतलब कुछ questions होंगे जो you have done very well in, but that's why I don't there's not much time to left, so don't review those questions. Then there will be questions कि तुमसे हुए maybe, but तुम फिर भी are unsure about that. Go through those questions again, and then there are questions that you can't do at all. Go through the concepts again. Plus, like कभी कभी क्या होता है कि you have some puzzles like that come in and you just are like, oh my god, that's not happening. So I don't think like should you waste much time even after mock on them. It's interesting, मजा आता है वो puzzle करने में, but if it's not happening, it's not happening. You shouldn't waste time on some things that you can't do.
Okay. And Sunita's question is, other books other than coaching, which books you would like to recommend other than coaching material? Any other
So
book?
I remember, I don't remember the name. Pandey नाम की कोई book थी critical reasoning
M.K.
की.
Pandey, M.K.
M.K.
Pandey.
Pandey, yeah, M.K. Pandey.
Yes, yes.
Critical reasoning, M.K. Pandey. English is easy. English में I don't remember the Chinmay Singh ऐसे कुछ. There was some name of the author, and then I had R.S. Agarwal both for English and reasoning. Maths, I had no book other than coaching material or maths as of what I remember. Some people do read that one book, I don't remember it, but that's like very उसमें अलग techniques बता रखी होती, totally different techniques. That doesn't work for me. Other than that, like legal में तो I don't think there are many books. If Universal has made it very like relative to the new CLAT pattern, go for Universal again. What else? Math, GK too. I have told about websites and all.
Okay. नैना सहाय का क्वेश्चन है कि हाउ टू प्रिपेयर स्टैटिक जीके.
I'm not sure about much. मतलब सर मेरे को थोड़ा बताओ कि कितनी आती स्टैटिक जीके अब.
Not much. Actually, the
Like
more
पहले
focus
जितनी.
is on. हाँ पहले जितनी more focus is on current affairs as always.
I mean,
So
maybe you should go to maybe past CLAT papers, or maybe you should go back to past sample papers जो consortium ने दिया, and you should try to see कि कौन से sections में से वो paper दे रहे हैं, और उसमें से आप देखो कि like what you should read, but don't like. I actually never did static GK. Like mostly, sir also didn't recommend me, and I never did static GK because it's like हवा में तीर मारने वाली बात है.
true, it's very vast. Okay, students are asking कि स्लैट क्लैट और एलेट के अलावा कौन से और एग्जाम्स आपने दिए या आप रेकमेंड करते हैं बच्चों को अदर देन क्लैट एंड एलेट?
मैंने तो पहला नेशनल एग्जाम आईलेट ही दिया था, फिर क्लैट दिया, तो आई डोंट नो एनी अबाउट एनी अदर एग्जाम स्लैट, एंड आई डोंट हैव एनी आइडिया. बट सी, अगर आपको यू आर रियली कॉन्फिडेंट दैट यू कैन गेट इनटू क्लैट schools, or you can get into NLU Delhi, go for it. Otherwise तो anything can work. Like you can go for SLAT, you can go for BHU. What else? Like you can go for anything, but if you're confident, you shouldn't give SLAT, or like maybe it might help for like general माहौल जो आपको भापने के लिए जरूरी होता है, but otherwise I don't think it helps much.
Okay, Ayushman Puri का question है, how is CLAT and ALET different? What should we do? I mean, how both are different exams? Though both are very different exams, especially the new pattern CLAT is a different from ALET, and but still his question, if you want to answer the question.
जीके तो आई थिंक सेम ही है, राइट? मतलब सी, आईलेट कुछ ऐसे क्वेश्चन डालेगा जो आपको बिल्कुल बोल्ड बोल्ड हो जाओगे आप, तो लाइक डोंट पिक दोज क्वेश्चंस. दैट्स व्हाई आईलेट इज मोर अबाउट सिलेक्शन ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. आई डोंट थिंक कि आपको लग रहा होगा कि आईलेट ऐसे करना है, आईलेट ऐसे करना है. आईलेट इज अबाउट सिलेक्शन ऑफ क्वेश्चंस एंड लाइक being yourself in those 1.5 hours. So I think there's nothing specifically you should do for IELT. In GK, in critical is the same, right? I mean, critical means level of questions next होते हैं. English तो I should be glad कि IELT और IELT के level पर आ रही है CLAT की English. So I think that is one thing. और legal में obviously don't do the long questions, like even at least in the beginning, go for them very later. And so like that's what you do. Like first attempt GK in IELT, then legal GK, and then whatever you're comfortable with, because I'm not recommending anything for
Last 20 days में कितने mocks देने चाहिए? Frequency, how many mocks they should attempt? Like every day one mock, or once in a 2-3? What is your suggestion?
Say like ultimately depends upon more upon the coaching, क्योंकि वो जितने देती है वो लेने पड़ते हैं. But I think 20 mocks, like one day one mock is more than enough. I don't think like it's not about कि वो उस 2 घंटे को सीखना नहीं है उसमें कुछ, मतलब like उस 2 घंटे में बैठना नहीं सीखना है. तो it's more about the content. So like you should just get used to it, sure, but you shouldn't like waste your time on it. Like you think about it, you're wasting 4 or 3 hours on the mock itself. I don't think so. One mock one day.
Okay. And as you said, the AILET was the first exam of your life and competitive entrance exam, and you scored well and you achieved 3rd rank. So after completing paper, आपको ऐसा भरोसा था कि मेरा 3rd रैंक या अच्छा रैंक होगा या सिलेक्शन होगा? आपको लगा था ऐसा, या रिजल्ट देख के ही शॉक लगा कि अच्छा इतना अच्छा रिजल्ट है?
Result देख के शॉक लगा. I mean, I did this for both CLAT and IELT. And Sagar sir is still very angry with me on this. मैंने दोनों में आंसर की फाड़ दी, OMR फाड़ दी थी, like उसके बाद ही. But like, I mean, I knew the paper was better because I had seen people's faces in the bus which took me to the center. I know it was better. It was comparatively better, and I also did this one thing. कि time up हो गया था, उसके बाद भी I still did one question. But I like, yeah, it was more of a thing कि बाद में ही पता चला. But you'll get to know कि तुम्हें idea हो जाएगा still, but you won't get to know कि आपको 3rd rank मिलने वाली.
Okay. And निधि कामत का क्वेश्चन है कि प्लेसमेंट्स कैसे हैं वहां पे? If you have any idea about the placements at NLS.
Placements, it happens 2 ways, one through internship and one through day 0 thing. So like companies come to NLS. So I think like you shouldn't worry much about it, but then it happens. Like the more successful a college is, the more at the top the college is, the more chances you have, but it ultimately depends upon you.
अगर आपका NLS में नहीं होता तो आप क्या करते?
मेरा NLS में शुरू में नहीं हुआ था. I had to choose between Nalsar and Delhi, and I got an upgrade to NLS because I chose Nalsar. So obviously I had gone to Delhi, but like I had my health problems. That's why I didn't go to Delhi. But Nalsar otherwise. मतलब if you're saying कि मेरा CLAT में कुछ भी नहीं होता, तो I'd have definitely given it again. But yeah, I see this problem कि droppers कहते हैं कि हम अगली बार कैसे दें. And I still think it should be a very calculated decision अगर आपका second drop में नहीं हुआ है. So, you shouldn't just go for it कि second time में हो गया. And if you're getting Raipur Patiala, you should maybe go for it because of क्या करोगे. So, like, I think.
और आप लॉ के बाद आगे क्या करना चाहेंगे? You would go for higher studies, judiciary, civil services, or campus placement?
I will go for anything that is law. Just law. I mean, I'll not go for IAS. I'm not the IAS guy. I'm not the IPS guy. I'm not doing any one of those. I'll just take a job that is comfortable for me, and that is being a lawyer.
Okay. And mock के scores को कितना seriously लेना चाहिए? जो mock में कभी कम आते ज़्यादा आते, कितना seriously लेना चाहिए seriously या नहीं लेना चाहिए?
See, it depends. Like, you should consider a range. Like, for example, the paper is 150. If you're getting above 100, if you're getting 150 to 100, if you're getting 0 to 50, that is something you should consider. You shouldn't think like कि आज 50 आ गए और कल 70 आ गए, या फिर आज 70 आ गए तो आज 60 आ गए. If you're just moving to the next range, then you should be glad about it. You should be really unsatisfied about it if you're going to the lower range. But it should be a very broad thing. ये नहीं कि you should be worried about every other mock. Like if you're upgrading, if you're going down as a whole range, then you should be worried or happy about it.
Okay, Harsh, a lot of students are watching you live. and they really look up to you, look forward to you. They get inspired while listening to you, and they get motivated. So what would you like to your piece of advice to them? Like what should they did? What should they do? I mean, how should they, like, the common problems are they're not able to focus much. They're not able to they have the sitting capacity, like they can sit for the 8-10 hours a day for studies. Also, like how to when they don't get marks in the mocks, so what to do about that? And also, eventually, finally, what is your success mantra, your guru mantra? How to get into the, like, you are sitting right there, you are sitting there in Bangalore. So how to get into colleges like Bangalore, Delhi, Nalsar? Like, what is your strategy or your guru mantra or your secret or your suggestion, your advice?
I mean, I think there is nothing specifically for it, but I think that's the most important thing in CLAT I've figured out than any other exam is you should be smart about it. You shouldn't be hardworking about it. You should be smart about it. That's what that man takes away the trophy. And like, yeah, paper maybe usse pehle bhi you should never worry about things, and you should selectively pick कि तुम्हें क्या पढ़ना है, तुम्हें क्या नहीं पढ़ना है. That's why coaching comes in. And even on the D day, someone asked, how does it feel on the D day? So like, yeah, it is very problematic. मेरा 15 मिनट पहले मुझे रूम नहीं मिल रहा था. So you shouldn't be worried about. That's what the ultimate rule is. Like, you just get. मैं तो ये भी सोच लिया था कि I'll give it the next year now only. But that's what it take. That's what the major takeaway is. You shouldn't be like, stay in the moment, but you shouldn't be worried on your feet. Like, it will happen. It will eventually. Anyway, it's gonna happen, right? Yeah.
Okay. So your suggestion is that see, you recommended 2-3 very good thing in exam. You should go for the selection of questions. Like, you should not you should not try to attempt all the questions. Rather, the questions you are comfortable with or you think you can do them, and you can get a good score. Optimum. Eventually, you need not to score. You need to have the perfect score, like 150 out of 150. Then only you would get colleges like Bangalore and Delhi. Even if you score 120, though it would depend on the paper. I don't know about the paper, how we are expecting this year paper is going to be easy, but still let us see what type of paper they give to us. Maybe a moderate one, maybe easy one, or maybe a difficult one. Let us see what happens. But generally, you should eye on attempting more and more questions, and not all questions. You should also should also learn to leave questions, learn to skip questions, avoid questions, and select questions. Which are the questions to be attempted and which are the questions not to be attempted. तो ये ओवरलुकिंग करना भी आना चाहिए आपको. तो हर्ष के साथ हमने बहुत सारी चीजें पूछी, एंड हर्ष ने अपना टाइम निकाला. एंड क्योंकि देखिए, बैंगलोर में सब कुछ इतना आसान नहीं है. They have a lot of assignments, lot of classes, lot of tests, and and वहाँ पे सब कुछ ओरिजिनल होता है. कॉपी पेस्ट का सिस्टम भी नहीं है. तो बहुत मेहनत करते हैं. They are work hard over there. See, NLS is the place where you get the best people in the country to study law. All the best people all the achievers are there, but still they need to work hard. वहाँ पे भी इनको मेहनत करने की जरूरत पड़ती है. तो आपने हमें बहुत सजेस्ट किया, गाइड किया, आंसर किया क्वेश्चंस के, और बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस बच्चों ने मुझसे पूछे. तो मैं कभी और आऊंगा. आज का हमारा सेशन हर्ष के लिए था, और हर्ष की जो एक्सपीरियंस है, जो उनका स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं, जो उनके सक्सेस सीक्रेट्स हैं, वो हम जानना चाह रहे थे. और थैंक यू सो मच.
Many people I'll answer this also. Many people are asking if the paper will get postponed. Guys, don't think it will get postponed. Think about it. It's happening in 3 weeks. Otherwise, you're not going to work. Like, I know.
Very true. Even if it postponed, but you don't think like that. You think my exam is on 22nd. So keep working hard for the 22nd. You have this. You have in your mind कि exam 22 को ही होगा, फिर postpone होगा. ऐसा, let us see. You never know. What about? This is all. As per the COVID, how COVID pan out, या वो कैसे उसका होगा उस पर डिपेंड करेगा। तो थैंक यू सो मच हर्ष, आपको हमें ज्वाइन करने के लिए, आंसर करने के लिए। हम आपको कुछ और तकलीफ देंगे, और सेशंस के लिए बुलाएंगे, अलग चीजों के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर टेकिंग योर टाइम out and responding all the questions. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll come up with a lot of sessions with a lot of achievers, a lot of successful people, a lot of toppers of the CLAT and AILET exams, and they'll share their experience, they'll suggest you, guide you, they'll tell you their strategy and their experiences. So stay tuned with us, stay tuned with our Telegram channel, with our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page and Instagram. We'll keep updating about the next session. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye-bye, everyone.